its last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave. Oh. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave. Ow!
Welcome to Monday. Happy Monday. Chris, how are you?
I'm good. What's going on?
It is the Seth Williams Show with Chris Aiken, and we're excited to be here today. I can't tell you.
You sound it.
Yeah, I absolutely am. Not sure why. I really am not, but I'm looking forward to this week, I guess. Big Browns draft this week.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot all about that.
I
Are
was
they
hoping-
are they still on the verge of Shador Sanders, or have we finally given up on that mess and moved on?
Giving up on it. I think we should do a Wednesday Browns preview draft show. Maybe get your boy on. Well, John Drake action.
All right, if he's around, I'll ask him.
Little Bloom doggy.
Yeah, I'll ask him if he's available for it. Dude, we got to get you a bigger monitor. You can't see for shit.
I don't know, because I just had a thing pop up on my screen. Look, it's an old monitor, dude. I mean, I got this thing when I started this stupid, this fantastic, unbelievable, like award-winning show, and I got it from a computer shop in Lakewood that used to actually advertise here, but it was rebuilt and probably from like 1992, and. So it does have fairly small type on there, and it's very tough to read. But it popped up a thing saying snooze, pick a time, or restart now.
Oh yeah, restart now. Good idea.
Well, that's my problem. I couldn't figure out which one was which. I had to get in there close to make sure I didn't hit the wrong button.
Apparently, John is listening. It says he can do Wednesday.
Good. We'll pick his brain a little bit on what the Browns are going to do for the. I don't want to talk about it now. I mean, Thursday's the draft. Sure. It's a Wednesday preview show. It would be fun.
Hey, you could ask him about the Cavs too. I believe he was out there yesterday. So.
Oh, good. Yeah, the Cavs. Look at that. Cavs a winner in their first game.
Boy, does no one give a shit about Easter anymore?
Fuck
NBA playoffs, WrestleMania. Used to be that was a total closed day. Now everybody's doing shit.
Well, yeah. One. LeBron James, real quick. I sent you a quick story, and there's not much to it other than the fact that LeBron James is a piece of shit. And LeBron James, if you remember correctly, came out and was all for good old Kamala Harris.
Yes.
And, Kamala maintains that all these celebrities loved her and couldn't get enough of the old Kamala. Except for the fact that she paid LeBron James $50,000 to endorse her.
She paid Beyonce too, didn't she?
Yes, and I believe Jennifer Garner is on that list, and Beyonce is on that list. There's quite a few celebrities that good old Kamala paid to be endorsers of. Now, $50,000 is spit to LeBron James. Why would he even take
Yeah,
that?
why would he take that money? It's more embarrassing than anything for him.
It makes you look like a dick for doing it, and it means that nobody actually believes that you cared enough about Kamala to actually endorse her.
Yeah.
And did you really need $50,000? That proves the point that you didn't like her.
He saved $50,000 just in not tipping in Cleveland.
Right. But yeah, good old LeBron, 50 grand to endorse Kamala Harris. That's good stuff. So how was your Easter?
Non-Eastery.
Really?
I other than texting my mom and my kids and saying happy Easter, that was the extent of Easter for me, my friend. There was
Really?
no big dinner, no nothing. Just nothing.
Well, you know what's weird is that, like, usually I would, text you and say, hey, happy Easter or whatever. And I was like, I'm not bothering because I know that Chris doesn't really give a shit.
No, I didn't care too much, and honestly, I was wrapped up in WrestleMania anyway. It was Wrestle Eastermania, I guess. So,
Well, we're absolutely going to talk about that, but I'm going to show you I'm going to just text you real quick the Easter eggs that I painted yesterday.
were they hooked to a girl's chest?
Well, you got to see it. Unfortunately, we can't share this with everybody, but those are some Easter eggs right there.
Yeah, I like that.
Well, yeah, like that. A little chocolate covered.
Yeah. Whose
Chest
eggs are
bone.
those?
Yeah, my wife's.
Yeah, I'm sure they're not.
I don't think she would let me do that. And on top of that, definitely I'm not sending them to you.
Yeah, I was gonna say if they were your wife's, I'm sure she'd be thrilled that you sent them right over to me.
But
Fantastic.
it was a nice happy Easter message there for you. But Easter yesterday we did our side hustle, right?
Mm-hmm.
A little door dashing stuff. We both have full time jobs.
Sure.
But as a side hustle, because it's good extra money, and I'm not embarrassed to say it. It was good side money. We DoorDash, and I mean you can literally make an extra $1,000 a week by doing it.
Sure.
And yesterday I thought, man, shit's gonna be closed all over the place. Tomorrow's Easter's gonna suck. We went out in the morning and we went out at night and made like $150 in a day.
Mm-hmm.
The shit that's open on Easter now. I mean, it's definitely not like Christmas. And I was having this discussion with my wife about Easter and some of these holidays now. I don't think we're a nation anymore of
Religion.
church-going religious people that want to celebrate all day and have the family over and everything else. And we're not the same people that we used to be. We're not the country I want to be. Look, I'm one of those guys that wants everything now, and I'm happy that there are restaurants open, and I'm happy that there was stuff to do yesterday, and didn't just get stuck inside all damn day long. So that's fine with me. But it's certainly not the country that I grew up in. I mean, when we were kids, everything was shut down.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Dude, I'm not going to lie. I was secretly happy that I didn't get the call on Thursday or Friday from my mom saying, let's get together and we'll just have a dinner, and I was expecting it, and I was very pleasantly surprised not to have it because I am exactly the person you're talking about. I want nothing to do with it. Just leave me alone. That's the best Easter egg I can open is the one that allows me to have a day of quiet.
Other than the ones I just sent to you.
Yeah, other than those, those would be better. Those would be better.
But like my wife's family, because I don't have any real family up here that I see anyways. And so my wife's, I miss, my mom's side of the family, they're up here, but for some reason we don't talk like we used to or ever, which is sad. But my wife's family all go to church at like midnight or 11 o'clock on Saturday night into Easter Sunday morning.
Right.
Apparently it's like a 4 or 5 hour service, dude, where you stand literally for 2 hours straight. And like I did it 1 year, like when we first started dating, because I was gonna be that guy, I was gonna be good dating boyfriend, and I'm gonna go to my wife's church and show her how much I care, blah blah blah. The second I walk into a church, most likely there's like the sirens in heaven are going off saying, "Don't let this guy in."
Right.
But I went, and it's literally there's so much incense that you want to die. Like it invades your brain. Your brain's one big giant incense fog,
Mhm.
and then standing for 2 hours. Now, especially with my leg now, but standing for 2 hours, forget about it.
Right.
And you can't move. It's not like you're moving up and down a line or something like that. You're just standing there for 2 hours
Well, you could
nonstop
just sit down.
before you kneel, before you sit. Everybody else is standing.
So what? Who gives a shit what they're doing?
And most of it's music, and so you don't want to be the jackass who's sitting down.
What kind of church are we talking here? Catholic or Protestant or what?
I think like something like Eastern Orthodox or something.
Fuck that. Yeah. That's. I mean, I was raised Catholic, but I ain't going to Catholic church. It's just a fucking play. The Lord be with you, and also with you. Praise be to God, and also with you. Shut the fuck up.
Some family don't like the fact that we didn't go to church and stuff like that. But my wife and I kind of agree that look, we have our personal relationships with God, and we believe and we pray all the time. Not together, but separately on our own in our own time. And I'm of the belief, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm of the belief that God's not sitting there going, "Well, fuck you, dude. You didn't go to church. Screw you." I think God is more looking for somebody that's a good-hearted person, and but that's just my opinion, my belief. It is what it is.
I thanked God yesterday. I did. I thanked God yesterday. Every time they showed Liv Morgan's ass on WrestleMania,
yes,
I thanked God.
We're going to get into that here shortly.
I was like, "Thank you, Jesus."
And then when I went to bed, I did a little repenting after I laid down.
That's right.
For the sins that I committed.
When they say he has risen, they don't know exactly what that meant yesterday.
But so we they all got home like 4:00 in the morning or some crap like that from church, and
right.
And then they had a dinner over at my mother-in-law's house for Easter and stuff, and it was fine. But I'm not a guy that can eat at 3:00 in the afternoon and go, "All right, that's dinner, thank you, good night." Right. Yeah. So I'm eating very little because I know that I'm going to sit down to an actual big meal myself later on for actual dinner, what I call dinner.
Right, at like 8 or something, 7 or 8. Yep.
Yeah,
I agree.
I mean, that's just I'm not yet in the nursing home, and so the early bird special for dinner is not exactly my thing.
And I never late. It's 4:00.
Yeah, I never understood this whole on holidays. All of a sudden, Thanksgiving dinner is at 1, 2 in the afternoon. That's not dinner, dude.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's because of travel. It's because of travel.
Well, too fucking bad. Don't travel far.
Yeah, but then nobody will go, and then you get exactly what you're bitching about, that nobody wants to do Easter together anymore.
I've started to do Thanksgiving all by myself because at our house, because I'm not eating Thanksgiving I'm calling it Thanksgiving lunch. We'll have it at noon, and then we'll either have leftovers for actual dinner, or I'll make a whole new dinner come dinner time.
Yeah, I'm with you. Believe me, I'm with you. And Thanksgiving is my Christmas, so I am definitely the epitome of a fat guy there with the Thanksgiving being my Christmas.
See, I mean, I knew that there was going to be somebody today. I was talking about it with Bob this morning. Was there going to be a jackass that said that it's Trump's fault or JD's fault that the Pope died?
Well, hell, if it is JD's fault, bravo to him for killing this fucking pedo Pope.
Well,
yeah, good.
All right, that's
fuck him.
Pope Francis passed away, battling a long illness with double pneumonia.
Fuck him. Put makeup on him. Put a dress on him and bury that fucking faggot bitch. What do you think of that?
I am really happy that we're in separate studios at this point.
Fuck the Pope. Look, I've said this for the last 30 years. Fuck the Pope. What kind of bullshit world are we living in that, okay, if you believe, that's fine. Believe all you want. And is that the new Pope calling you to cut me off?
I don't know, my dad knows how to do a show. I don't know what he's calling. He doesn't listen to the show anymore. Probably because of this.
That's probably it. But no, dude, why? If you believe, you believe. That's fine. But why are we believing that some dude elected by some other dudes who run an organization that is well known for raping kids, Why are we believing that we should follow anything this fucking jackass says?
Okay, I will refrain from using that sort of language when referring to the Pope, but I will say,
won't. Fuck him.
okay, I mean, you can do whatever you want to do. I will say, though, that this Pope of all the popes has not been really my favorite. And has definitely been a more liberal-leaning Pope. I mean, Matthew, when he was bitching about it, should be praising that Pope. But you're talking about a guy that there's no way I could agree with some of the teachings that guy had going on. I mean, when you're talking about everything that I was taught as a kid, this guy was going everything against it. And when you're talking about illegal immigration, I mean, the guy just flat out lied. I mean, leave it to a Pope to actually lie. I mean, he called Jesus like an illegal immigrant or some shit like that because he crossed border, but he was not. I mean, it's not true. I mean, what he said wasn't true. He lied. And then on top of that, I mean, you would think that the Pope would actually read a little bit. But forget about the fact that he surrounds himself with walls.
Mm-hmm.
And yet is telling America that we should just open up our gates and let everybody in. I mean, he's not letting anybody into his home, but he wants everybody to open up our doors and let them in here. And so the guy was a hypocrite in a lot of different ways, in my opinion. But I'm like getting sick of talking bad about the Pope. But there's a lot of conservative Catholics out there that are not going to be too sad that he's gone. Now, from what I heard this morning on a couple of different news channels, there's hope that the people in charge of the Cardinals, whoever in charge of picking the next Pope, are going to lean more towards a traditional Pope as opposed to the guy that was there for the last whatever.
Yeah. We don't need another clown with a fucking papal hat. Fuck him. Fuck all popes. It's all nonsense. It's all nonsense. And this is somebody that has a degree in biblical studies saying it. It's all nonsense. Anytime you start believing in a person instead of believing in, if you believe in a God, fine. Believe in the God, follow the teachings, all that shit. But if you start believing in a person, that is no different than believing that David Koresh is Jesus. It's all fucking nonsense. All of it.
Have you, are you going to be like on Papal Watch and, watch for the, white smoke?
No. Couldn't give a shit.
All right, I got to look this up because now I'm interested.
What about the smoke?
No. Has there ever been a black pope?
No, there has not.
I don't know. The church's records tell us that there were potentially 3 black popes.
No, there weren't.
In Catholic history. Oh, Pope Victor, that's a black name, headed the church from 189 to 199.
Oh, well, how did I forget that?
And Pope
If you say Pope Leroy Jenkins, I'm quitting this show.
No, there hasn't been anybody since 496. So
yeah.
How about a black pope there, you hypocrite bastard? We shouldn't say bastard pope. This guy wants to be Mr. Liberal Pope.
How about Pope Dylan Mulvaney the First? Hi,
Pope LeBron, dude.
I'm here for the chocolate starfish. Hey.
Okay, now we are both going to hell, dude. I feel really horrible now.
Why? Because you're laughing at my jokes?
Yes.
I'm sucking you into the dark side?
Seth, the Vatican has been a walled fortress for centuries.
So?
That's apples and oranges. It's not. It's not apples and oranges. How about tear down that wall, Mr. Pope? How about open it up? Let the people in.
How about using the riches that they continually gather to fucking take care of poor people instead of continually lining that fucking fake city full of gold? How about that? How about why does the Vatican need to be like a marble city? How about make it like a street church and take care of all the people that can't fucking afford to eat, you fucking phonies?
And how do you just change sins that were, I mean, if you can't open up your gates and change the centuries of being walled in there, John. How could you take the Bible and start picking and choosing what you want to change from it? I don't want to hear about it's been walled for centuries with apples and oranges. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
So the Bible has been the way it has been for centuries too. And you can't just pick and choose what you want to change in there. That's kind of what this Pope did. That's kind of what these liberal lefties want you to do. So I'm interested to see who the next Pope is going to be. I mean, maybe it'll be Pope Deshaun Watson.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Rubs the sin right out of you.
Absolutely.
Now we know what fills those little dishes that they dab on their head.
Man,
probably through a glory hole that's drilled right in front of it.
All right, and now the numbers are just dropping right now because nobody wants to go to hell by listening to the show.
Then bye. You definitely are hitting on a topic that I just do not fucking support. I think the whole Vatican and Catholicism as a following is absolute fucking
Brian is also going
theater.
It's
gay just Pope. Theater.
Gay Pope will put a glory hole in the wall. Okay. But there are some family that disagree with my wife and I not going to church on a regular. But I listened to a priest the other day. It's actually on the radio, talking about he called them EACers, Easter and Christmas goers.
Okay.
That these people think that they're like all holy and great because they go on Easter and Christmas to church, and then the rest of the year they're jerking off little kids or murdering people and everything else.
Dude, that's just church in general, though. I mean, honestly, when I used to go to church here in Twins-Tucky, we used to go to this little church right up the road, and I used to call the guys that took the money the Sunday morning deacons because they were the deacons of the church. They were supposedly like the guys that were like above reproach or whatever. Every one of them smelled like booze as they were passing that fucking basket around. They were smelling like booze and salivating at the little wine tray. It's like, fuck you, you fuck. They literally got in from partying and trying to bang bitches at like 5 a.m. and we're showing up half drunk for church. Fuck that. Church is a fucking sham.
Chris, as someone who studied theology, you should know the Vatican or history.
Who says I don't? I'm just not talking about it. And to be honest, I studied it 40 years ago, my friend. Can you not tell that I don't keep up with my teachings?
Cody wants to invade the Vatican and take the gold.
For that,
we are all going to hell after today's show.
And if Matthew's point about J.D. Vance killing the Pope, good. First miracle he's done so far. Well, killed off the Christian hating Pope. Good for him. It's a good move.
There was a book out there that I did read. I have a tendency to read every now and then, not a lot, but when I do, it's usually somewhat interesting stuff. And it said that this Pope, it was around this time that either the Pope or this Pope or the one after was the Antichrist and was going to be the fall of the Catholic religion. I don't necessarily think that he did that, but he certainly didn't help it.
He did a true MAGA move, made the Antichrist gone again.
Now, he did. The Pope did give J.D. Vance a rosary and 3 chocolate Easter eggs to give to his children.
Wonderful.
Now, what do? Do you actually eat a chocolate egg that the Pope gives you? Don't you want to save that? Wouldn't that be something that you don't want to get rid of? I mean, I know your answer. You just
to me, it's no different than getting it from the guy at the 7-Eleven. No different at all.
See, Matthew's just trying to be a funny guy because the college championship trophy that J.D. Vance held up, it didn't break. There's a base to it, my friend, and the top glass part comes apart from the base. But nice try. It was a funny video, I guess, for stupid liberals. play. But yeah, Pope Francis died, so now we're on Pope watch.
Can't
I
wait
don't
for
know
the
how
white smoke.
I think it takes, I don't know, what did they see? That it takes like 15 days or something like that. They got to have meetings and stuff, and then
Yeah, because
they stop
that's
all the meetings.
important. Because
Right.
why is it so hard? They
Well-
knew this fucking guy was going to die. Why didn't they have these meetings when he got first admitted to the hospital?
I mean, that's a good point. Like, maybe you should have this kind of lined up so you could just go from one to the other.
It's 2025. Isn't there an app that they can have? Pope vote or something? Just Pope, here's my vote. Done. Do we really need this stretched out horse shit and all this fucking dumb symbolism? Oh, look. Unfortunately, we got black smoke again today. We're going to try again. Come back next week. So dumb. It's
What if there
all
was-
dumb.
What if there was a black pope? What about a Hispanic pope?
Who cares? Why do we need a person to pretend worship? What does the Pope do?
I don't know.
What does this fucking Pope do? Nothing. He rides around and spreads the word to the fucking lemmings that follow it. That's it.
In a Pope mobile. I'm looking up what is the Pope's job. Yeah, there's nothing. There's no actual.
There's not, because his job is to hoard money.
Spiritual leader of the Roman Catholic Church.
He's allegedly the closest human being to God, except for the fact that he's elected by a bunch of other people. Not God, just a bunch of other people.
Remember the Million Man March?
Yeah, sure.
All the black guys walking down, and there weren't a million of them. I went to a march in Washington. It was called the Promise Keepers March.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a bunch of Christian men and gathered on the mall at Washington, whatever. And I'll tell you what, there might have been 1 million people there. It was one of the most amazing turnouts of things I've ever seen. Now, I'll be honest with you, it was one of the most spiritual, greatest moments of my life, because I still remember it to this day, dude. And we're talking, I don't know, at least close to 30 years ago, but maybe not 30, but it might have been just under 30. But I still remember like it was yesterday. So all these men were out there. We took buses and all that shit to Washington, and everybody marched down, and they had huge, like right by the monument, all that kind of stuff. But like where I was actually able to sit, you couldn't even see the stage from there, because that's how far back we were, because there were so many people. And so every few hundred yards or whatever, they had like big, huge, like giant screens. You could watch the thing, whatever's going on stage. The speakers are on stage, that kind of thing. And it just went on forever. I mean, there had to be close to 1 million people there. I don't want to look it up, and there were no seats, so you had to like sit on the gravel and the pavement, whatever. I happened to be sitting on a patch of gravel and dirt. It was terrible.
Right.
And it was an overnight thing. So, I mean, you slept in that fucking patch of gravel and shit. It was terrible.
Great.
But again, you kind of got to, and I know stupid people like John Drake and Matthew are going to make Brian, are going to say, oh, you're gay. But you kind of got to know the guys sitting with you and just kind of, talked and hung out. And I had gone with the guy, my first ever engagement of like 3 or 4, but the first girl I got engaged to in my life, I went with her dad. And he was a great guy, nice guy. And we were sitting there and just everybody's talking, hanging out. And one of the greatest parts that I just, it was unbelievable. Whoever was the speaker at the time, I don't remember him. Somebody just typed in fart a whole bunch of times. Is that what's going on there?
Yep. Creative.
Yeah, very good. I mean, so the speaker says, on the count of 3, I want you to say your own name. And so he counts down to 3, and everybody says their own name, right? Really loud. And it was a jumbled bunch of mess that you could possibly imagine. It was terrible. And then he said, now I want you on the count of 3 to say who we're all here to celebrate. And on the count of 3, every man that was in that thing, 1 million guys, said Jesus. And I swear to God, you could probably hear it from space, dude. It was the most amazing spiritual sound I've ever heard in my life. and it was beautiful. It kind of moved me to tears, dude. It was just people gathering for the love of God, and I thought it was so great. And then at the end of this thing, it was a couple days long, whatever, is when I got discouraged because as they're saying goodbye to all these people, the entire thing of men that were there to see this was lined on either side with guys and gals holding baskets to take money from you.
Of course. Yeah.
And you sat there and you all of a sudden questioned everything that was going on. Because now not only was a Million Man March of guys celebrating Christ, but it was a million men who are now being asked to give everything that they had in their wallets to put in these baskets.
It was the $100 million march is what it was.
Exactly. And it discouraged me so bad. And it made me angry because that's not why I was there. I didn't think I was there for a donation rally. I thought I was there for a rally for God. It really changed my mind on the way I looked at the Catholic Church and my wanting to go every week. I understand getting donations when you go to church because you're trying to keep up the church that you're in. Maybe they have bills to pay, they got electric to put on, and all that kind of stuff. And I get it. They got books to make or whatever you want to say, but that really discouraged the shit out of me.
Right. Would you feel better if it was more like the Hajj, the Muslim thing, where they all gather and do that nonsense?
I don't know what do they do. I'm not familiar.
That's the one where they march around the big old thing. It's like the central place of their religion or something. I don't know fully. I don't know a whole lot about the Islam, but isn't that also where they like beat themselves with the whips or whatever?
I don't know, but I mean, it really sucked to have like an entire few days of what I thought was just people coming together in the name of God, and then to me at the end they're telling you, oh, on your way out there's baskets, and there were baskets, man. They lined the entire mile of people that were there, and you just sat there going, really? I mean, I paid for a seat on the bus to pay for gas and stuff, but I didn't think this was a giant thing to make money, and that's what it turned out to end up being. And so that's when I kind of was like, well, I'm going to have my own relationship with God and take it or leave it. God doesn't like it. Hope we don't go to hell.
Right.
So now that the Pope, this liberal Pope, is gone, I'm interested to see what happens next because, my daughter's graduating high school. She's not going to any church that I know of, and she's going to be at college and stuff. I doubt there's going to be a whole lot of prayer going on campus, but I'm hoping that for the sake of children to come. I mean, I went to St. Ignatius, dude. One of the better high schools, at least back in the day, for education, football, and everything. It was a great school. And the teachings that I've been hearing about now are so different from what I grew up with that it makes me angry. There weren't these woke policies back in high school when I was there.
Right.
I mean, that's not the way it was. They fired good theology teachers, and I don't know, the whole thing just, for me, took a nosedive from everything that I've been hearing about that place. I don't know how bad it is or anything, but I mean,
dude, it's because there's no like when we were growing up, when we were younger, and I mean, I went to Walsh for a year, so I have some experience in Catholic school as well. But back in the day, there was a certain reverence about Catholicism or religion in general. It doesn't have to be Catholicism, but these days there's none of that, dude. It's openly, as much as I'm joking about the Pope and whatever, it's openly okay to question people on Easter for praising a ghost and this, that, and all that other shit. So it's just, it's different now. There was when there was pressure from the parents to be respectful of religion, even if you didn't practice it, then there was more kind of respect for it. Now there's just none of that, which is why Eds and Ignatius and probably Walsh as well are just nowhere like they used to be. Don't you think?
I absolutely think that, without a doubt. Well, I mean, I wish that, and I don't know if they're ever going to get this country back to that, or religion back to what it used to be. I don't know if we ever will. I mean, shit, dude. I read today on Cleveland.com on one of the posts on online that there was a rally over the weekend against Trump, right?
Right.
And I don't know if they meant to put it in their top description. Like, it wasn't in their headline of the article, but it was in the top description of what they posted. And it said, yeah, this rally was put on by the Socialist Party of America.
Right.
Hey, you had admitted socialists marching in the streets of Cleveland. I mean, who the fuck are these people? Where did we go in this country that it's okay for Cleveland.com to celebrate that there were socialists marching in the streets of Cleveland against our president?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but now, again, you have, in the old days, if you had a cause that could cause a problem, they wouldn't permit it. Like for how many years the Klan couldn't really march like in force, because they couldn't get the permits to do it. Now, you don't like Trump? There'll be some judge somewhere that'll say, yeah, you have the right to go out there and call for his killing.
Look, but here's the problem with like what we were just talking about. We do allow Hamas sympathizers,
Sure,
terrorist sympathizers,
mm-hmm.
to march on our college campuses and to threaten Jewish students on their way to class, prevent them from going to class, harass them, cause violence, and we allow that under our First Amendment. Now, if you had a group of KKK members that were marching on these same college campuses, that were preventing black people from going to classes, harassing them, hurting them, I guarantee you the left would not be supporting them.
No.
And the left would not be saying, no, it's their First Amendment right. Now, I'm not saying I agree with that, with them being able to do it. I don't. But I don't think the Hamas sympathizers should be able to do it either. It's not a matter of First Amendment rights. It's a matter of what's wrong is wrong. And when you're threatening people and preventing them from going to classes, that is a problem.
Well, yeah, you shouldn't be able to stop any. Just like, and to take it out a little bit, it's just like the blocking the streets nonsense. I don't really give a shit what your social cause is. Don't block the fucking road.
Or you're going to get run over.
Or you should, and there should be no charge at all for that. If anything, you should charge the family to wash your car.
Did you hear the Kent State story? You may not have heard it. It was a story that was there for a minute, and then actually the Bob Franz show took care of it. So this is the way our world should work.
Okay.
So on the campus of Kent State University, the fine university that it is. Now, I have family members that went there, and they were very successful, so it's fine. But it's a very liberal school.
Sure.
Always has been. For an art thesis, one student decided he was going to do pictures, I guess you could call them.
Okay.
And on the walls or the windows of the visual arts building at Kent State.
Right.
It was one of them was a picture of a Trump severed head on top of a pike, one of those big spike things going through the head of Donald Trump.
Right.
And blood dripping out of the head, eyes were clawed out and everything else. But it was obviously Trump. And then the words next to it said, "We only have to get lucky once."
Wonderful.
So they also did one, I guess, for Vance and one for Elon.
Okay.
And so Bob got word of the one with Trump and had me call the Kent State University to get a statement from them. And I happen to know one of the guys that works in the department for communications, whatever. And he sent me over a statement from the school saying they were going to allow it because it's First Amendment rights, freedom of
Freedom of
speech,
speech, right?
and it's also covered under Ohio Code, blah, 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 blah. They gave all this bullshit, nonsense, whatever. And what we were saying is, well, no, you could say a lot of things, but you can't threaten
Yeah.
the president of the United States like that. We only have to get lucky once, is what they put next to these pictures of severed heads of the president, the vice president, and Elon Musk. And so Bob, being a connected guy that he is, called Bernie Moreno,
Okay.
who immediately called the president of Kent State University.
Right.
Hey, this is not cool. And then Bernie broke out the big guns and called Attorney General Dave Yost, who then called the school and said, hey, look, you're not going to get in trouble. This stuff's got to come down.
All right.
And so immediately the school backed off of it. By 5 o'clock in the afternoon on Thursday, all the pictures had been blacked out and removed.
Well, there you go.
And that's the way that this country should work. When there's crazies out there, they should be stopped.
Yeah. The
I
system
guess
worked.
The student was somewhat sympathetic, I guess, apologetic. But you don't do that you can't get away with that kind of stuff. I mean, I remember back in the day, Triv had, we had somebody, or he had somebody call in and say they wanted to shoot Obama or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't even like the next day before Secret Service was at the radio station asking for call logs and wanted to know who it was who said this.
Yeah.
But,
well,
you
somewhere.
You see all the pictures and everything on strictlyspeaking.org, by the way. Strictlyspeaking.org. You can see the pictures, and Bob put together a video on how the timeline went down, but it's pretty cool.
Somewhere in the last 8 years, it became okay to call for the death of President Trump.
Yes.
I mean, you can name them openly. Madonna.
Oh, yeah.
Kathy Griffin.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, these are just right off the top of my head, but you could Google either one and find it in a second. And unfortunately, our Secret Service didn't do their job.
Who's the one guy that kind of was in Pirates of the Caribbean?
Johnny Depp?
Johnny Depp. He did that.
Yeah, didn't what's his name? Sean Penn?
Sean Penn.
Yeah, but none of them got the visit.
No. But you didn't hear Republicans calling for the death of Joe Biden. Now, most of us thought he was going to die in office because he was so old, decrepit, and dying, as it was.
Right.
But we weren't calling for the death of him. I certainly had nothing good to say about Biden or even Obama. I never liked Obama, but I would never in a billion years call for the death of somebody like that.
No.
And that's just not in me.
You might hope for it secretly, but you won't openly call for it.
There's a lot of people that I don't like. I mean, a lot of people that a few people that I used to work with that I really don't like. But I certainly don't hope that they get cancer and die. I mean, that's just me. I'm not that way. But I certainly would never come on this show or anywhere else and threaten the life of a president or anybody else like that.
Again, I might hope it, but I would never actually be like, hey, listeners, go kill this person. That's just, and that's the problem with the celebrity. You let the celebrity do it, and they've got 6 million followers. Few of those followers are fucking psychos.
I mean, shit, they did try to kill him like twice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, none of it makes any sense. You still
Doesn't
don't know why the kid in Butler did it, or tried to do it, or who put him up to it, how he got there. Why CNN was at one of his rallies for the first time ever when somebody tried to blow his head off.
Yeah. Well, it's because it made good TV for them. Allegedly.
You can't just go around, and I don't care what kind of school you are, you can't just go, putting pictures of severed heads of our leaders and saying you only have to get lucky once. Who the fuck do you think you are?
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I'm glad that it was taken down. I'm glad that the kid had it removed and all that kind of stuff. But here's what I think should happen. I think that kid should have been expelled from school. I think there should be an investigation into the school.
See,
and there are teachers that are allowed to have that happen. There's a teacher that approved that because it was painted on the windows of the school.
Right, which is why I personally do not think the kid should be expelled, but I think the art teacher should be fired. Because the art teacher allowed a terroristic threat to be made.
We're not talking about a kid that's 12 years old and doesn't know better.
I get that, but if he approached the teacher and said, "I want to do this," and the teacher said, "Yeah, go for it," is it the kid or is it the teacher?
I think it's
The
both.
teacher should have said, "Nah, that's a fucking terrible idea. Go paint a flower growing next to a tree." That's how it should have gone.
This guy, Matthew, thinks the assassination attempt was staged. Okay.
It was by his party.
By your party. Exactly. It was not staged by Donald Trump. A guy died, you dumbass. I agree with that. And are we back to the fart guy? Look at that.
He's going to have to make yet another account, I guess.
What is it? What does it say? Trump crotch rot?
Yeah.
I'm glad he's watching. I mean, it's another number for us. Might be that Paul guy that insists on threatening me on Facebook.
Fuck book.
There's somebody last night. I feel bad sometimes when I respond to people. Like last night, this lady, she's one of these WNIR posters who likes to give me shit. And so she posted, those toy box things that people are doing now. It's like the trend to put a toy out.
Yeah.
Did I send you mine?
No.
I'll send it to you because it's really Joe Burdick made my toy.
Oh yeah, you did send me that. Yeah, you sent me that.
But anyway, so she posted a MAGA and tagged me in it, MAGA toy, whatever it's, one of the MAGA toy, and it's a fat guy with bullets around his waist and a blow up, doll next to him and a computer and stuff. And I only saw it last night because I was checking my Facebook because I posted a Happy Easter post to friends and family and that kind of thing, and a picture of me and my kid. And I thought maybe somebody responded to Happy Easter, but no, it's this bitch. And posted that thing and tagged me in it. And I said to her online, I said, "Don't you have anything better to do on Easter Sunday than take a shot at me or Trump or anything?" I was like, "You must have a really lonely, pathetic life with no friends or family that actually care about you to have dinner with or sit down with on Easter." I was like, "You know what? I actually feel bad for you, and I'll leave you alone from this point forward because your life is too lonely and pathetic for me to make fun of you anymore." And I got no response from her. But I feel bad for people like that. I do. I feel bad. There's a time and a place where you want to argue about something, fine. But it wasn't even a conversation. I don't even know this person. She just decided to tag me in this fucking ridiculous post. And nothing better to do on Easter. I mean, I do. Maybe she doesn't have any family. Maybe she has no family that actually like her.
I can't imagine why.
Yeah, I mean, like people like Paul and this woman, they have to sit at home going, "I wonder why nobody likes me." I mean, like they probably have kids that don't like them. They have fathers and mothers that don't like them. It's really kind of sad. Wow. But I have been pretty good about not posting on Facebook. So.
I've kind of taken that up myself. I'm just kind of sort of just not posting at all on Facebook anymore. I just don't care. There's no reason to. That's the other thing, too. I sort of thought about it. I was like, there's really no reason to post on Facebook anymore. For what? So I can argue with people I don't know? Who gives a shit?
Yeah, I've been kind of cooling off on it just because, it gets kind of serious when people start threatening you.
Yeah.
People are crazy.
Mm-hmm.
There's no knowing what they'd actually do.
That's why it's like, yeah, I'll just do my own thing, and I don't need to share all my thoughts with anybody. My people I care about, I call.
Right.
Simple as that.
But see, I hate to say this, I am kind of like a Holly Strano. She takes selfies all over the place and everything. Used to. And so I am kind of like her in the sense that I like taking pictures of like me and my family and me and my daughter and stuff and posting them just to say hi to everybody and say Happy Easter to a lot of people. And, I kind of enjoy that. I get a kick out of it because I think I think it's nice. I think it's good to stay in touch with people. Even people I don't know. Even people I don't know. I mean, they're friends on Facebook for a reason. Either they're enjoy what we do or enjoy the trip show or whatever, or I consider everybody friends like that. I consider people that watch this show friends of mine. I mean, you know,
I have show pages for that. I really do. I have show pages for that.
yeah. Well, I mean, everybody's different. I'm just telling you that's why I am. I consider everybody that I reach on Facebook to be a friend or an acquaintance, at least, to share good times and bad times and memories and stuff like that with. I mean, I think it's fun. I think that's part of the attraction of social media. The problem is I've gotten sucked into the bad part of it.
You spend way too much time on the other.
Yeah. All right. We've talked about news. We talked about the Pope. We talked about all the other crap, but we haven't talked about what we said we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
So let's take a quick break. What do you say?
Okay.
And then we'll do a little Hands to America. If you can donate to Hands to America, do so. We'll take a quick break, and then we'll talk a little wrestling.
Sounds good to me.
I saw some of it, and some of it I was really not happy with.
Okay.
So we'll be right back here on the Seth Williams Show with Chris Aiken in about a minute. Hang on.
When disaster strikes, we come together. Here at Mario's Barbershop, we've turned our passion into purpose. As Hands to America, a 501c3 nonprofit, we're on the ground helping those hit by hurricanes, floods, fires, and tornadoes, right here in northeastern Ohio and nationwide. But we can't do it alone. We need your help to keep this vital work going. Your donations, whether it's cash or vehicles, can bring hope to those who've lost so much. Join us in making a real impact. Every donation fuels relief efforts and helps rebuild lives. Call us at 844-864-2637 or locally at 216-520-1977 or visit us at handstoamerica.org to see how you can help.
Right back here on the Seth Williams Show with Chris Aiken.
Yes, yes.
And yesterday was actually all weekend was a kind of like another, instead of Easter, it was your holiday.
It really was. Wrestlemania weekend, man.
Dude, let me just start out by saying I felt like such a fucking douchebag the other night. I thought I was laying down in bed, right? This is maybe last week, Wednesday, Thursday, something like that. And I turned Peacock on my phone. I was going to watch some TV, and I said, "Oh, WrestleMania," and I didn't know that it hadn't happened yet. So I'm watching the thing, and I'm watching it all the way through, and I get to like the final match on Sunday or whatever, and I'm like, "Wait a second, I've fucking seen this." I'm just like, I'm watching last year's fucking WrestleMania like a dick,
right?
And so I was excited that it was this weekend, and then I had some stuff to do, but I got to see some of it.
Okay.
And I don't know, man. I wasn't all that impressed. I mean, some of it I thought was fun, but some of it I just thought was kind of like, all right. I mean, it was.
I have some real issues with WrestleMania this year. I really do.
I watched. Let's see. I saw the Charlotte Flair.
We could start there. Oh boy.
And
that was a little too personal. There was a lot of really hard hits going on. Because those two don't like each other. Like
that's what I've gathered from that.
They don't like each other at all. But Charlotte Flair breaking her tooth and breaking Tiffany Stratton's tooth and stuff. Holy shit!
Now, I mean, I got to do the hard hitting stuff here, of course, because you're a bigger fan than me. I like it, but you're a big fan of wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying so hard to decide whether I thought Charlotte Flair or Tiffany Stratton was hotter. I was trying to.
All right, I'll give you my view. Tiffany Stratton is a butterface with a great body.
Yeah, because that's what I was. You got to throw a picture of a Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah,
because the body was getting in the way of her face. I mean, thank God, because her face isn't much to look at, but the body was ridiculous. And Charlotte Flair, to me, has a face that looks more like a man.
Charlotte Flair is not attractive, and she's less attractive now that she's that she's literally invested millions of dollars into plastic surgery.
It looked like she has done plastic surgery.
She has, and she looks ridiculous. And she's worked out so much that her body looks fucking weird too. And look at my big fat dumb ass judging anybody.
Well, I mean, that's just it. I mean, look, I'm not saying that you and I should be on the cover of WWE magazine. I'm just saying that. I mean, I want to be Triple H, but I'm certainly not. But yeah,
I'm Triple X.
Yeah. Good for you. I'm a couple up there. But Tiffany Stratton, I thought was because I kept staring at the body, going, "All right, I dig her, and I wanted her to win just because that's how I pick stuff. I pick horses at the track based on the name, and I pick wrestlers based on their body." Yeah, the body's insane.
Yeah,
but look at the face. What's going on there?
She's just. I don't know. I don't dig her face at all. I just don't dig it, and it was even worse when she had the busted teeth at the end of the match when they showed her and she was like breathing hard, and you just saw the big black spot where her tooth should be. Yeah. That wasn't good.
Now, is it me, or do you think the women are not as talented wrestling wise?
It depends on which ones you look at. Now, Charlotte Flair in that match that we're talking about last night or 2 nights ago,
yeah,
she carried that match. Tiffany Stratton is not, I mean, and she's green as hell. She's only been in wrestling total for 4 years. And they already put a belt on her. Why? Because she has a rocking body.
Yeah.
And the little it's Tiffy time caught on with the fans. So they just roll with it. But yeah, her moves just look fake as hell. You know, when she does the thing where she's running and bouncing off the ropes into something, you can just tell she's telling herself, don't trip, don't fall. You know, she's literally calculating what she's going to do in her mind instead of it being muscle memory. And Charlotte Flair absolutely carried her through that match.
Now, Jake is right. I think that we'll get into the last night's match here in a little bit, but I thought that was rough to watch.
The first night, the whole night?
No, I thought the last night, the final match.
Oh yeah, that
but
made me.
Before we get to all that,
yeah, let's not get there yet.
What else was happening on Saturday night? Because I know I saw that one, but I can't remember what else I saw on Saturday.
Well, that was the thing. Saturday night just didn't have a lot of good matches.
No, and I saw what's his name, Heartbreak Kid come out, Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels. Enough with the old guys.
Look, I like some of it, like last night when Stone Cold came out. Fucking sweet, dude. And
except now WWE's going to get sued because he fucking hit the guardrail and knocked that woman over with the
so he crashed
ATV.
Or crashed an ATV into the fucking side and almost killed somebody. But I thought it was cool that he came out. But I thought it was kind of gay that they had these guys come out and fucking just announce the attendance. Like,
yeah.
Having Stone Cold come out to announce attendance for the venue. Like, what is
what else are they going to do with him? He's not going to wrestle.
I mean, I'd rather have him come out and be a guest referee or I don't know, something.
He's not going to wrestle, and therefore he has no real value to the show. And honestly, and again, I love Stone Cold. So for me, Stone Cold being there, I want to see him do. I'd rather see him on commentary. Quite honestly, I'd rather see him than Pat McAfee any day of the week. McAfee sucked on both nights of the WrestleMania.
And I like his show, but I didn't think he was all that good on the wrestling thing.
Dude, could this guy suck the dick of any more celebrities than he did over the 2 nights?
Yeah, it was pretty.
Hey, it's my guy, Little Yachty. Yeah, you don't know Little
guests.
Yachty. Shut up.
He's just looking for guests.
He is. Just horrible. And and just the same with the sponsors. Every sponsor, he's like, oh my God, I got to get me a drumstick too because now I saw the commercial.
I told you last night. I was like, when I texted you, I was like, dude, I wanted a fucking drumstick so bad after watching the drumstick mascot dance all over the place. I fucking wanted to chow down on that thing.
Dude, that was my 2. I just hit on both of my 2 biggest complaints about WrestleMania this year. The commercials are out of control now. There's more commercials in WrestleMania than there is on the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, in between every match, and then they would have commercials in between the match. Then they would run a promo for the next match and then go to commercial again and then do the entrances.
I agree with you, but at the same time, I think you gotta. I mean, and I know you realize it, but dude, they're putting it for free on Peacock. I mean, you pay like $6 or whatever a month for Peacock, and you got it for nothing.
Stop, and this is why you're wrong. Peacock paid them $1 zillion for that right, so they're taking it back out on us to make more.
Yeah.
Peacock already paid them for that privilege of bringing audience to there. Now Peacock, I'm sure, is part of the discussion on the commercials. But man, and I'm okay with commercials. If they want to run commercials in between every match, that's fine. But my God, every match, then every promo, then the next match, then the 10 and 15 minute. Dude, I used to think that the Undertaker intro, while cool, took too long.
Yeah.
That was nothing compared to Jey Uso on the first night. It must have taken him 15 minutes to get in the ring.
Who did he wrestle?
Gunther.
Yeah. I wasn't crazy about that one either. And then I turned it on, and it was L.A. Knight.
Yeah, L.A. Knight, yeah.
And who was he? I didn't even know the guy.
Jacob Fatu.
I never even heard of that fucking guy.
To me,
it was boring as shit, dude. I didn't see any need for that match at all. To me,
well, L.A. Knight is super popular.
Really?
Yeah, he's super. And Jacob Fatu is a good in-ring guy, but he doesn't do shit as far as moving the needle. I didn't hate that match. I didn't love it. Just the whole night, that whole first night is all kind of, that whole first night felt like Raw. It just felt like a regular version of Raw. I mean,
I did not see, unfortunately, the last match. Now, that was Roman Reigns and
CM Punk and Seth Rollins.
Was that any good?
The match wasn't that great. The triple swerve by Paul Heyman was pretty good.
Okay, now I heard about that on the second night, but I didn't even see what happened. So what was that?
So at one point, Roman Reigns was knocked down, and so he gives a chair to CM Punk, and CM Punk starts to walk up on Roman to hit Roman with the chair, and then Paul Heyman jacked him in the nuts, so that he dropped the chair. He goes down. Then the chair goes to Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns gets up to whack CM Punk with it, and then he jacked him in the nuts and turned on both of them and went with Seth Rollins.
Oh.
Who then laid the chair down and fucking took the belt, or not even a belt, but took the win. So it was a triple swerve. That was okay. It was a little kind of predictable, but it was okay. But that was the only on that first night. The rest of it is all Raw. Jey Uso versus Gunther. Well, we've seen it 3 times already. How many times do we have to see that match? Tiffany and Flair. I didn't think it was a very good match at all. L.A. Knight and Jacob Fatu, like you, don't care. And then I know the fans like L.A. Knight, but don't care.
Saturday, or I can't remember which night it was that I saw. It was the Grande Americano.
His first night, yeah. El Grande Americano versus Rey Fenix.
Again, I was going, okay, I've never seen either one of these dudes, and they're just two guys wearing masks and dancing around. And
the gimmick on El Grande is that he's Chad Gable. He is. He's Chad Gable, but he went on some exploration into himself and came back now as a luchador, but they're pretending that it isn't Chad Gable. And if you listen to the announcing, they kept saying, "Oh, it's Chad Gable, and that moves just like Chad Gable." It was silly. I was okay with that. The part I wasn't okay with was the other guy, Rey Fenix, who's been in WWE literally 2 weeks, and he gets a WrestleMania shot because Rey Mysterio got hurt. And it's like, wait a minute, this guy. I'm well aware of Rey Fenix because he was on AEW for the last 5 years, so I've watched him. He's a great wrestler. But he's in 2 weeks and he's wrestling on WrestleMania. Where's the specialness of WrestleMania? This guy doesn't even have 5 matches in WWE.
John, WWE is unwatchable anymore. Just horrible.
I don't know that it's unwatchable, but it is not real good right now. That is true. It's really not. But yeah, overall, the first night, Jade Cargill and Naomi, who gives a shit? Jade Cargill is the biggest bust. Jade Cargill was signed by WWE as a fuck you to AEW because she was their champion and they signed her away. And it was one of those, bite me, Tony Khan moments. But she's awful in the ring. I mean, she looks the part, like she's totally ripped. You know who she's married to? This is a little side note. Remember Brandon Phillips?
Yeah.
From the Indians and then the Cincy? She's married to Brandon Phillips. That's her. That's where she got the money to train. She's in ridiculous shape. I mean, she's as far as any female in any wrestling, she's by far in the best shape of any of them.
Now, do you think that WrestleMania 2, that's the one with Hogan and Giant, right?
Yeah.
That had more of had a bigger audience than this?
No, because there's only one day.
Oh yeah, but for one day.
Yeah, that one had 93,000 or something for the one.
That's pretty good for one. And that was, I mean, come on, everybody wanted to see that match alone.
Yeah, I mean, dude, nobody's arguing other than John that WWE is huge right now. It is huge right now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree, but I don't. Do you think it has the same appeal that it had when we were kids?
No,
and it was WWF.
I don't think so, and I'll tell you why. Because whenever they need numbers, they have to go back to the old guys.
Well, that's what I was just about to say. It seems like when they want to do something special, all of a sudden it's got to be with The Rock or Stone Cold, or they got to go back to whatever to get something huge, as opposed to these new guys who aren't really cutting it just yet. Anyways.
Yeah, well, and you can't just.
I mean, Roman Reigns is probably the biggest one they have. Wouldn't you say?
John Cena. But he's kind of an old guy too.
I want to talk about it. We're getting close to the end of this thing here, but on Sunday, I also watched the Tag Team Women's Championship.
Yes,
which I thought was kind of entertaining. Becky Lynch, I think, is way hot. I will say.
Do you really? See,
I do.
I'm not in on the Becky Lynch.
I like the brunette look. I was digging her black outfit. Can you put a picture of her up, please?
Of Becky?
Yeah. Come on, Jake. You got to say that.
Is that her?
No, we'll get to that one in a second, though.
God damn, I love her. Let me find me some Becky Lynch. Anyway, go ahead. I'll find it.
Well, that's it. The other one was what? The one in the red?
Liv Morgan.
Liv Morgan might have, and please, wife, stop listening, might have one of the greatest asses of all time, dude.
She's amazing.
Now, I could have watched that match literally for 3 hours alone, dude. If they just did the entire Sunday night thing of WrestleMania with just Liv Morgan and Becky Lynch going at it, I would watch the entire 3 hours.
Yeah.
I would have gotten popcorn, wings, pizza, and just sat there for 3 hours and not said a word to anybody. Just watch.
Just watch and live. I'm with you. I could watch Liv for days. She's so hot. There's Becky Lynch. It's
not the greatest picture.
Well, it's the first one that came up when I typed in WrestleMania.
Oh no, I mean, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. When I saw her last night, I thought it was okay, but Liv Morgan.
Yeah, we'll go back to Liv. I'm always willing to look at Liv Morgan. She's just a fucking 20. She's stunning, man, and she seems fun. Like there's a bunch of video like at the after parties. She went out to like the after parties at the strip clubs and was dancing on the stripper poles.
Get the hell out of here! Really?
She's fucking the best.
Like I said, 3 hours of just that outfit alone, I could watch
Yeah.
And it would have been a better product than watching that final match last night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with Liv Morgan. And she's fun, but again, she's not the greatest wrestler either. She's better than she was when she started. I'll give her that. She's a lot better. And her character works, but aside from that, I mean, and really, if you want to get into it, I mean, did you really like watching Raquel Rodriguez or
No, dear God.
Laya Valkyria?
No,
I didn't either.
No. They should have made it just Liv and Becky Lynch.
And Becky Lynch has surprise guests for, and they could have played the whole angle that because Liv's angle in that was that she quote unquote retired Becky Lynch, and Becky was gone for a year. So they could have played that angle. They'll probably start playing that angle tonight on Raw, I would imagine.
Whoever that, what was the other one? Enrique
Rodriguez, whatever her name is.
She looked like a man out there and trying to wear the same kind of outfit that Liv Morgan was wearing. It was like, well, what are you doing? Why are you wearing that?
Yeah, it was like trying to dress like a girl.
Yeah, it looked like a trans dude.
Yeah, she's a little too big for that outfit. That's for sure.
Definitely. Who do you think is your all-time favorite WWE female wrestler?
It's Trish Stratus. Me and John Drake have argued this a million times.
Who does John think?
I'm
more going looks wise than I am wrestling.
Lita.
Okay, I like Lita, but I would go with Stacy Keibler.
Yeah, she need a boob job.
Dude, have you seen any pictures of Stacy? She has plenty of boobs.
I'm not saying it's a bad choice. I'm just saying it's not my choice.
I mean, Stacy Keibler, didn't she do like the mashed potatoes and gravy wrestling thing?
You mean mud wrestling or whatever?
No, I think they did mashed potatoes and gravy.
Did they?
Like on WWE, I believe.
I will give Stacy this tremendous ass. She definitely had a great turd cutter. That's for sure.
That's the worst way to ever describe an ass you could possibly come up with. It ruins everything for me. Why would you say that?
Why? If she was taking a shit, you'd watch that video. Stop lying and say you wouldn't.
Oh, see, look, yeah. Jake even said Stacy Keibler and Trish Stratus.
There's Stacy Keibler.
Yeah, dude.
I'm not saying she's not hot. I personally think Kelly's hotter than her, but
Fabulous Moolah.
Fabulous Moolah. There's a logical guess.
Yeah, dude. I don't know, man. And I mean, dude, there weren't back in my heyday of wrestling. There weren't really any women wrestlers that I know of.
Sure.
At least they didn't. Miss Elizabeth was as close as I can get to watching a hot chick during my wrestling days back in the day. Do you remember the match where Miss Elizabeth took her fucking skirt off?
Yeah, sure.
It was one of the greatest moments in wrestling history. And now these women dress like they're going to like the porn couch.
What's wrong with that?
I mean,
that's terrible. That's awful.
It's taking advantage of women.
It really is. I mean, you would never see women dressed like this anymore.
Hello.
That would be Trish Stratus.
Yeah, that's I'm sure it's airbrushed and it doesn't. It's wow.
She still looks pretty damn. I mean, she still looks close to that though, which is crazy. Whenever she comes and does because she's been on a couple of times in the last few years. She's done little 2 or 3 month runs with the company.
Yeah.
And she still has the rock and bod, but her face has been plasticed up a little bit. And it's like
some miles on the old face.
Oh, not miles, plastic. Got some Goodyear on that face.
My wife was confused because like last night I was watching it and I was asking my wife to do all kind of wrestling moves on me.
Hey, even John is saying, look at Trish today. She looks almost the same. Hold on, I'll pull a picture. That's not clean. I gotta find one that's clear.
I was asking my wife to like body slam me, clothesline me, and do the people's elbow right on top of me naked. And she wasn't going for any of it.
She wasn't hearing that?
No, it was very upsetting.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Trish Stratus still looks pretty. I mean, she's been out of wrestling, 20 years or whatever, and she's still a goddamn 10. Just her face has a little, and there she is today.
Well, hello. Not bad. Yeah, she's all right.
Oh.
Yeah. And then I started, because we were watching the girls' match last night, or female match, or whatever you want to call them, women's match, and
Yeah.
I was asking my wife like what were her favorite dudes of wrestling, because like when I met my wife,
Yeah.
her boyfriend at the time that she was living with, right,
Uh-huh.
was going to wrestling school. He wanted to be a WWE
Okay.
wrestler.
Sure.
So he got the long hair and worked out all the time and all that kind of stuff. And she's leaving that guy for this fucking pile of mess. They gotta have a sense of humor. But so she followed some of those wrestling guys, and she liked
Sure.
Edge.
Edge?
Yeah, Edge, and she was a big Rob Van Dam fan.
El Gigante?
I don't think so.
You don't know?
Wow.
That guy was ripped.
I thought she would like Triple H like during his prime, but he wasn't a fan.
Here's El Gigante. Look at how ripped this guy is. I can't believe this wasn't your wife's favorite. He's ripped.
She liked Chris Jericho.
And now Chris Jericho's shaped like me or you.
Right? He was in that shitty band, remember?
Fozzy still is.
But my ex-wife liked the Hardy Boys.
Oh, Matt and Jeff.
Couldn't get enough of those dudes.
Sure.
I mean, it's
Well,
not,
anyway,
I know it's not tough to do better than me, but all my former people were in love with guys that were nowhere near what I look like. I feel really bad for my wife having to go from a wrestler guy.
She's schlepping. Is that what you're saying?
To this dude. Well, what I don't show people is that underneath like this sweatshirt, I got like a 12-pack going on.
Ingested 12-pack.
Yeah, just of hot dogs. And
yeah,
burgers.
exactly. So anyway, the final match, because we
Final
are out of time. That was horrible.
Set it up. It's John Cena against Cody Rhodes.
Yes.
Now, Cody Rhodes, I can't tell whether I like this dude or not. I don't think he looks. To me, he doesn't look the part of a fucking WWE Ultimate Championship kind of guy.
Not big. He's not big like Hulk Hogan or the Ultimate Warrior, or The Rock, or even Stone Cold in the day. He's a regular. What does he weigh? Like 220 pounds or something. He's like 6'3". He's not big. He's way over though. Man, the people love him. But that was kind of weird too. The people turning on him last night.
Dude, the people love him because of his dad.
That's a part of it. And that first year when he left AEW and joined WWE, the WWE did a great job of building up him, quote unquote, finishing the story and winning the championship belt that his dad couldn't win. And let's be honest, he's been the champion for a long time now, more than a year. Like he had been the champ. I think they said going in like 380 days or something.
Yeah.
So,
but John Cena was going for the
17th time. Yeah. But John Cena's gimmick this year is that fuck the fans, which for the first time ever, or for the first time since he was rapper John Cena, he's a heel, and he's a real heel. And so he's going in, like, I don't know if you even paid attention to it, but when he came down, no lights, no no graphics, no nothing, just a black screen with the name John Cena on it. Which I thought was great. I'm loving John Cena as the heel, to be honest. First time I've ever liked him.
I was gonna say I never. The other 16 times that he won, I could give a shit less. I just was never a fan of that guy. I never got.
I never liked him. I always
weird shit. And,
I always equated him to Hulk Hogan or Ric Flair with the,
don't put Hulk Hogan.
Cool catchphrases, but lousy in the ring. And you can argue that with me all day long, but Hulk Hogan is lousy in the ring, and Ric Flair was lousy in the ring, but they were both good on the microphone. Same with John Cena. Great on the microphone. And then his big moves are the lazy shoulder and the you can't see me elbow drop. Get the fuck out of here.
Like I'll fight you to the death on Hulk Hogan, but
he wasn't in the ring.
I didn't even like John Cena's movies. I mean, I think the guy's just terrible.
Okay, well, if we're gonna go that route, what about Hulkster in Paradise or whatever that was?
I love that, by the way.
Stop it. Terrible.
Love that.
Terrible.
Come on. And so last night, I think the whole referee getting knocked out kind of bullshit is just kind of tired. I mean, it happens. It's happened so many times. It's the same bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Same played out story. I don't even know who Travis Scott. Who's Travis Scott?
He's the number one rapper in the world.
He's
a big name in rap.
And doesn't he do that Fiend song or whatever it is that they're playing or whatever? I don't know anything about Travis Scott.
I think he was the theme song guy for it last night. I mean, honestly, that's a whole nother thing. WWE has to get over this fucking celebrity worship. They don't need the celebrities anymore. And over the 2 days, they're just celebrating the same fucking celebrities. It's 2 or 3 UFC guys. It's 2 or 3 rappers and the same tired guys. It's, hey, look, it's George Kittle.
Right.
The only thing that was good about George Kittle was when they showed him at the end of WrestleMania last night, and he was holding like 15 empty beer cups. That was pretty good because he was clearly fucked up. But but like Jelly Roll, I like Jelly Roll, but I don't need to see him at every wrestling thing. And not for nothing, but when he sings the national anthem, or what did he sing on Saturday, America the Beautiful?
Yeah.
He was the featured singer on America the Beautiful. And then 2 hours later, they show him in the crowd. And, the celebrities are out. There's Jelly Roll. Well, we know Jelly Roll's there. We just saw him fucking sing.
Yeah, and so the referee gets knocked out a couple different times.
Yes.
And so everything was all fucked up. And then that Travis Scott comes out again, this puny fucking black guy.
Yeah, he's 150 pounds.
No idea what the hell he's even doing out there. And then I just thought the ending was very weak. And of course, Cena wins. And I couldn't tell whether people like him or not. Yeah, I know he's the dick right now. And yet people are cheering for him. The whole thing just made no sense to me, and I hated it.
Yeah, I mean, I think people like him being the dick because everybody was tired of the kid version of John Cena. Everybody was tired of that whole respect and hustle. Everybody got sick of that shit, and they like seeing him just be an asshole that cheats and throws low blows and stuff. I do. I like John Cena way more now than I ever did.
I thought he looked old and kind of out of shape compared to what he used to be.
He does. Well, because he's not training for this shit anymore. He's out there making Tooth Fairy 3 or whatever the fuck he's doing.
I mean, you looked at Cody Rhodes, and again, not a big dude, but fucking ripped.
Yeah, well, because he's in shape for this.
You looked at Cena, and you're like, all right, the guy looks pale and not like he used to look as far as his body goes, and just kind of was like, I don't know.
I'm okay with what they're doing with Cena. They're letting him go out.
Well, is he done now?
No, he'll be done at the end of this year. But he's not going to wrestle every week. He's going to, he'll be there tonight, I'm sure, and somebody will talk some shit or whatever. I mean, the way this is all going to wrap up is one of two ways. the end of the year, it's either going to be Cody winning the belt back or Roman Reigns winning the belt back. It's the only two way. I'd probably be Cody, because Roman Reigns has already said he's ready to go part-time. So they got to build somebody that's going to be there for a while. And my bet is that it would be Cody Rhodes. If it's not Cody Rhodes, the other guy that I think is a sleeper would be Damian Priest, because he's the kind of guy that the WWE likes. He's young, he's big, he's like more metal than the other guy. You know, he had fucking Slayer out there playing his theme song.
Look, I know there's a lot of people that don't have any clue what the hell we're talking about, but I'm starting to get into it a little bit more than I was, because some of it is interesting. And look, I mean, it's a lot of the TV shows around are the same tired crap, and so watching some of these wrestling stuff. Look, we all know it's fake. We all know, but it's entertainment. It's a storyline. It's a fucking TV show like watching any other show. And so it does. And the guys are talented, and the girls are talented at what they do. I mean, just because it's not real and they're not beating the shit out of each other, it doesn't mean it doesn't hurt when they're flopping all over the place and everything else. I mean, they have a talent.
And honestly, that's what made the Charlotte Flair, going back to the Charlotte Flair match, that's what made that match not good, because when they really do start hitting each other, it looks way worse. You know, because they know how to act like they're taking hits. When they're really punching each other in the face, it's a different thing.
I watched some shit, like old interviews and stuff, and they like Andre the Giant was one of those guys that, like, if you caught him on a bad night, like, he would seriously hurt you, and like he didn't care about actually choking you.
Yeah,
like,
well, that's why
hurting you.
That's why all those guys were so respectful to Andre, because they're afraid of dying in the ring. Same with like Yokozuna. I mean, Yokozuna's move as a 600-pound guy was to jump off the second rope and splat you. Remember that? He used to jump off the second rope and just smash into you. Man, if he got fucking pissy, he lets go and just all of his weight crashes on your chest and your heart gets punctured.
I don't know. Maybe we can talk more about some of the old time stuff on Wednesday with John.
Sure.
John's going to come on. John Drake, Bloomdog. He's going to talk about the Browns draft.
Yeah, John's a big
Wednesday
wrestling
night.
guy too. So,
but I want to fight him over this. He says Hogan was horrible.
No, he's right. He's right.
Not. He's so not right. Look, I was the era of fucking Hogan, Macho Man,
dude,
Superfly, and all those Junkyard Dog, Big John Studd, Andre the Giant. That was my era of wrestling.
Dude, so, I watched Hulk Hogan win that belt. Hulk Hogan sucked in the ring. I'm not saying that he wasn't good for wrestling. I'm saying in the ring, from the time the bell rang till the time the bell rang, this guy was a bum. Just ran around, threw some punches, didn't know any wrestling moves, bounced off the ropes, the dumb big leg, and that was it.
Dude, there was nothing.
Sucked.
Okay, we gotta go. But there was nothing better for me as a child than watching Hulk Hogan get into like a sleeper hold, and you thought he was going out, and then next thing you know, the arm stays up, and he starts shaking and kicks the shit out of somebody.
All of that was awful.
Okay, look, I was a child, and I loved it. We're destroying every memory I had of my, what was somewhat of a decent childhood. And you're not gonna fuck with. I saw him live numerous times. I met him numerous times. I met Jake the Snake. You're ruining my childhood happiness.
I'm not saying that he wasn't fun. I'm saying that just as a ring performer, he was not very good. Same with a lot of the guys. Like the Ultimate Warrior wasn't very good either. He wasn't good in the ring.
And I cried when he beat Hulk Hogan, dude. I literally shed tears. What year was that?
Oh my God, 85 maybe?
I thought it was later than that. I fucking shed tears.
I don't think it was. I think I was still in high school. I think that was 85 or 86. It was somewhere in there.
Two other things about Hogan. One, he's got a great store in Orlando, which was fantastic, and I'm going to wear my shirt on Wednesday for John Drake. And two, he's got the best theme song of all time when it comes to wrestling. And maybe we can debate that too on Wednesday about best theme song.
The Real American?
Best fucking, and I listen to that song before every show that we do here.
I don't hate that song. It's
every show. I have it on YouTube and I play it before we start because it's the greatest opening theme song ever.
Maybe that's why your computer's always fucking up.
I told Shrimp that I wanted to open up his show with that song. I wish Bob would listen to me. I'd open up his show with it. I think it should be open to every cool fucking show out there.
That's funny.
So, screw you, Hogan haters. All right, Browns draft preview show on Wednesday. We'll have some more stuff, politics and crap to talk about as well. Have yourself a good rest of your Monday and enjoy your Tuesday. And God willing, we will talk to you on Wednesday. Does that sound good?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, well, then I got to find out how to actually end the show. You'd think that I'd be good at this. Right?
But no.
There. I think I got it. All right.
right.
We'll talk to you later, everybody. Have a good one.
See ya.
Wait, is it the long one?
Yeah, long one.
All right. I'll get it at some point. See ya. Maybe.
Seth Williams loves this land, stands tall and proud. Believes in freedom, speaks his mind out loud. Mentored by Trip, he learned to be tough. Life knocked him down, but he got back up. Lost a leg, but he's still strong and true. Chasing dreams under skies of red, white, and blue. Voting for Trump, he shouts it clear. WTAM tried to bring him down, but he's still here. In the heart of America, Seth takes a stand. Against the tides, he defends our land. Liberals call him crazy, but he don't care. He's got the spirit of an eagle, soaring high in the air. Hates LeBron James, won't wear that crown. Prefers hard work and blue jeans in this town. Radio waves try to shut him up, but Seth keeps singing, filling that cup. From the small town streets to the mountain high, Seth sees the flag waving, reaching for the sky. He keeps on fighting with a rebel yell, for every fallen soldier and the stories they tell. In the heart of America, Seth takes a stand. Against the tides, he defends our land. Liberals call him crazy, but he don't care. He's got the spirit of an eagle, soaring high in the air. From the small town streets to the mountain high, Seth sees the flag waving, reaching for the sky. He keeps on fighting with a rebel yell, for every fallen soldier and the stories they tell. In the heart of America, Seth takes a stand. Against the tides, he defends our land. Liberals call him crazy, but he don't care. He's got the spirit of an eagle, soaring high in the air.